Welcome. Week 2 of our workshop involves talking about stress, all the different sources of stress, and just talking about stress is stressful. So what I've done is sketched out a list of things that would build resilience and increase the capacity to sort of talk about stress and be comfortable talking about things that are stressful. Building a positive stress mindset is key. No mud, no lotus. The notion being that a lot of what mindfulness works with is the discomfort, the anxiety. It's designed to reduce suffering. And so by delving into and accepting the uncomfortable portions of who we are and what our lives are about helps us. So acceptance is a huge foundation for mindfulness practice. Gratitude is another way of buffering stress. Taking the moment every morning, I try to take 3 breaths and think of 3 things that I'm grateful for. And I do believe it might be important not to be thankful for the same things every day, to expand my network of gratitude, my spectrum of gratitude. Setting your intention to be accepting of the mud and the difficulty and every opportunity that is presented that may be frustrating, it may elicit a stress response. Every one of those opportunities is golden in the sense that they can provide you with a better mechanism, a better situation for understanding how to dampen your stress response, how to avoid creating stress responses, and how to shorten and become more resilient when a stress response is elicited. So making friends with stress is it's a challenge, but it's what the practice engages in. So being aware of and accepting, labeling, non-judgmentally what the stressor is. Blessings, similar, very related to gratitude. Blessings involve giving something, right, to someone, and a blessing actually doesn't cost anything, but it's a helping behavior. And by engaging in a helping behavior, we can change our physiology. We change sort of a potentially aversive situation into one of helping, which activates this sort of courageous, joyful aspect of a stressful situation. And that in and of itself can have health benefits. So setting the intention to be accepting of the mud and making friends with the stress, blessings, giving, helping others, caring for others. And then the next thing is framing, or reframing. So if we see something as a negative and it's difficult, if we can think of how that negative is going to prompt a positive response, a cultivation of some new skill, building tolerance. I'm smiling because someone may be complaining about my behavior in certain situations, and that someone has heard very often, I'm just here to cultivate your tolerance, which may not be the nicest way of talking to my daughter, but long story short, reframing is a way of turning a situation which is reality and has been sort of labeled as a negative and seeing that now as a positive, an opportunity for appreciating some blessing that happens to be in that situation. So that's reframing. It's a very good skill. So when you're thinking about all these things that stress, you might also flip it and think about how that stressor can cultivate some positive aspects of your personality or of the situation. Noticing and activating the awareness response is one of these sort of Jedi mind tricks for tuning into your sensations and deactivating the stress response. So simply noticing what's going on, finding a word that resonates with that thing, and then allowing yourself to tune into your sensations about that experience. That's one way of coping with an aversive situation. Laughter actually generates a de-stressing, whether it's even fake laughter or real laughter. Tangentially, laughter is how we acknowledge and support and build our network of friends. So we include other people within our in-group by laughing with them. And a social network reduces stress. Mindfulness is about pausing and creating the space for freedom of choice. So by pausing and not engaging in a knee-jerk response, I've actually created a larger space from which one can choose what to do next in that moment. And this is, across the board, one of the most profound anti-stress techniques going for cultivating character as well. So exercise and limiting a stressor, sort of backing away from it, is certainly one other option. So that's a review of a lot of different coping skills, many of which are entwined, if not sort of solidly within the rubric of mindfulness. But I wanted to present that in advance of your review of the 4-page PDF on stress. So thank you very much for your time and your attention. Be well, be mindful, cultivate your practice.